Imagine this moment. You're standing across from her. Nothing dramatic happens. No grand move, no clever line, and yet something shifts. Her eyes linger a second too long. Her body leans in without permission. You didn't chase, you didn't prove, you didn't ask, and that's exactly why her nervous system woke up. Because attraction doesn't begin when you do more. It begins when you stop reaching. Welcome back to Female Code Unlocked, the space where we don't teach you how to impress women. We teach you how desire finds you. If you're here to understand the psychology beneath attraction, quietly, deeply, subscribe now. You don't want to miss what comes next. Here's the truth most men never hear because it sounds too simple to be powerful. The one thing that makes women chase is not attention, not mystery, not dominance. It's emotional self-containment. Let me explain. Most men leak energy. They react too fast, they explain too much, they try to secure the moment before it escapes. And women feel that, not consciously, but biologically. It tells her, this man needs the outcome. And need kills desire faster than rejection ever could. Now picture the opposite. You feel something for her, but you don't rush it to the surface. You enjoy the connection, but you don't grip it. You're present, warm, human, but internally stable. That calm, that's rare. And rarity is what the female mind chases. Here's a real moment you've seen before. She pulls back slightly, takes longer to reply, tests the emotional temperature. Most men panic here. They text more, they soften their edge, they overcorrect. But you don't. You stay exactly the same. Not cold, not distant, just unmoved. And suddenly, she feels the imbalance. Her mind asks a dangerous question. Why didn't this affect him? That question doesn't rest. It loops. Because women don't chase men who chase them. They chase the emotional gap, the space between what they feel and what they can't fully access. When you remain centered, you become that space. Think of it like this. If she's fire, most men throw themselves into it and get burned. You're the stone that absorbs the heat without cracking. That creates safety and danger at the same time. Now here's the darker layer. Listen carefully. When a woman senses that you don't emotionally collapse without her validation, her subconscious flags you as high-value attachment material. Not because you're better, but because you're complete without her reaction. That completeness creates a quiet fear. If I don't move closer, I might lose access. And that's when she leans in, asks questions, seeks reassurance without realizing it. You didn't manipulate her, you didn't play a role, you simply stopped outsourcing your emotional stability. This is the one thing, not pulling away to punish, not ignoring to provoke, but mastering the art of not needing the moment to go your way. When she feels that, she doesn't just want you, she orbits you. Because the female psyche doesn't attach to effort, it attaches to emotional gravity. And gravity comes from stillness. Good. Stay with me. Because now we go deeper. Past attraction, into attachment. Here's what most men misunderstand about women who chase. They think chasing is loud, messages, calls, jealousy, confession, but real chasing is quiet. It happens in her mind when you're not there. It's the replay, the wondering, the subtle anxiety of not fully knowing where she stands with you. And that only happens when you do this one thing consistently. You don't rush emotional resolution. Let me show you how this plays out in real life. Then you have a good conversation. Chemistry is there. Maybe even a spark that surprises both of you. This is where most men ruin it. They try to lock it in. They define it. They over-affirm. They say things like, I really like you. I feel such a strong connection. Where is this going? Sounds honest. Sounds mature. But psychologically, you just closed the loop too early. The female brain bonds through process, not conclusion. When you rush to define, you remove the mystery her nervous system was beginning to invest in. You end the movie right when it was getting interesting. Now contrast that with you. You let the moment breathe. You enjoy her. You engage. You're emotionally present, but you don't collapse into certainty. You don't hide your interest. You just don't hand it over. And something strange happens. She starts filling in the silence. Her mind begins to work for you. What is he thinking? Does he feel it too? Why doesn't he need reassurance? This is not insecurity you're creating. This is emotional engagement. The female psyche bonds when it has to participate. Here's the dark truth most people won't tell you. Women don't become obsessed with men who give them clarity too fast. They become attached to men who feel emotionally grounded, yet slightly out of reach. Not unreachable, just not owned. Think about it. The man who always explains himself feels predictable. The man who always reassures feels safe but forgettable. But the man who remains calm inside ambiguity, he feels like depth. And depth is addictive. Now listen carefully. This part matters. This isn't about playing games. Games come from fear. This comes from self-possession. You're not withholding because you want control. You're withholding because you don't need to convince. You know who you are. You know your value. And you let her discover it at her own emotional pace. That pace is slower than logic, but faster than desire. When she feels that you're not rushing to be chosen, something primal activates. Her subconscious reads it as, this man is used to being wanted. And the female mind chases what other women would want too, even if there are no other women. Perception is enough. Here's another real scenario. She pulls away for a few days. Old you would have spiraled, checked her socials, sent a, hey, everything okay? New you don't punish her. You don't chase her, you simply continue living. When she returns, and she often does, she's different, more attentive, more curious, more emotionally open. Why? Because she tested your emotional dependence and found none. That absence of need creates respect. Respect creates attraction. Attraction creates pursuit. And over time, pursuit becomes attachment. This is why women say things like, I don't know why I'm so drawn to him. He just feels different. I feel calm, but also nervous. That's the effect of emotional stillness. You're not loud in her life, you're felt. And the more she feels without fully understanding, the deeper she sinks. In part 3, I'll show you the final layer, Acher, how this one behavior turns short-term attraction into long-term emotional imprinting, the kind women don't forget, even years later. Now listen closely, because this is where attraction crosses a line most men never even see. This is where a woman doesn't just want you, she remembers you. Long after the moment passes, long after the conversation ends, even after she meets other men. Here's the final layer. Women don't emotionally imprint on men who excite them the most. They imprint on men who change how they experience themselves. Think about that. She's met confident men, funny men, good-looking men, but the man she can't forget, he made her feel different inside her own body. And that happens when you do this one thing at the deepest level. You remain emotionally grounded even when she opens up. This is where most men fail without realizing it. She finally lowers her guard, shares something vulnerable, talks about a past hurt, a fear, a side she doesn't show, and the man, wanting to be the good guy, rushes in. He reassures, he fixes, he overvalidates. He makes it about him being safe. But you don't rush to rescue her from her feelings. You hold the space. You listen without needing to be the hero. You acknowledge without absorbing her pain. You stay present without merging. And something profound happens in her nervous system. She feels seen, but not consumed, safe, but not smothered. This is rare because most people either detach or drown. You do neither. You show her that emotions can exist without chaos. And now, without realizing it, she associates emotional regulation with you. That's imprinting. Her body learns, when I'm with him, I feel calm and alive. That combination is lethal in the best way. This is why she'll think of you in quiet moments. Why she'll compare others to you without meaning to. Why she'll feel a subtle disappointment when someone else can't hold her the same way. You became a reference point, not through intensity, but through stability. Here's the darker truth. Once a woman emotionally imprints on you, her attraction is no longer logical. She may walk away, she may try to move on, but the memory of how she felt around you stays. Because you didn't just trigger desire, you rewired her emotional baseline. And the reason this works forever? Because it's not an act. You're not trying to be unforgettable. You're simply not abandoning yourself to be chosen. You don't chase validation. You don't demand certainty. You don't collapse when the energy shifts. You remain whole, whether she leans in or pulls away. And that wholeness becomes magnetic. Women don't chase men who try to be irreplaceable. They chase men who already are, by nature. Because the one thing the female psyche can't resist is a man who is emotionally complete yet still open, grounded yet warm, present yet unattached to outcome. That balance is the one thing, not a tactic, not a trick, a way of being. And once a woman experiences that with you, she doesn't forget. She feels it every time something feels off with someone else. In the final part, I'll reveal how to live in this state naturally, without suppressing emotions, without becoming cold, and without losing yourself in the process. Stay here. This is the last turn of the lock. Because the question now is not what this state is, it's how you live in it without forcing yourself into a mask. Here's the paradox most men never resolve. They think emotional control means suppression. They think grounded means distant. They think unattached means cold. That misunderstanding creates men who look calm but feel empty. That's not what creates lasting attraction. The state women chase is not emotional absence, it's emotional sovereignty. You still feel, you still desire, you still connect, but you don't abandon your center to keep someone close. You don't hand your emotional steering wheel to her reactions. Your mood doesn't spike when she texts. It doesn't crash when she goes quiet, not because you don't care, but because your life is already full. This is where it begins in real life. You build a rhythm that doesn't wait for permission. Your days have weight. Your silence has structure. Your attention is chosen, not leaked. So when she enters your world, she feels it immediately. Not pressure, not hunger, but presence. And presence is intoxicating because it's scarce. Here's something subtle most people miss. Women don't feel chased when you want them. They feel chased when you rearrange yourself around them, when you delay your life, when you shrink your world, when your energy bends to maintain access. You don't do that. You invite her in, but you don't pause your momentum. That's why she senses freedom around you, and freedom triggers desire far deeper than attention ever could. Now understand this. You will still lose women living this way. Some will drift, some will choose intensity over depth, some will mistake calm for lack of interest. And that's fine, because the women who stay, stay fully. They don't stay out of fear. They stay out of resonance. They feel regulated with you, seen without being absorbed, wanted without being owned. That's why they chase, not loudly, not desperately, but consistently. They reach out. They reopen doors. They circle back. Not because you manipulated them, but because you became a place their nervous system trusts. And here's the final truth. You don't do this to make women chase you forever. You do this so you're never chasing anyone again. And paradoxically, that's when they come closer. If this resonated, you already know why. And if you want more insights like this, quiet, psychological, real, subscribe to Female Code Unlocked. This isn't about dating tips. It's about becoming the man who doesn't need them. And once you are, they don't forget you. They feel you, always.